Hi, quilters. This is Marianne Fontana. Some of you had asked me about information on my pattern for the ribbons block. This is the one that I did in June at the AccuQuilt launch party for the Go Me. And we were asked to just take the two shapes that came in the Go Me, which is a 6-inch finished half square triangle and a 6-inch finished quarter square triangle cutting dies, and they came in the set with the new Go Me starter. So anyway, we were asked to create a block, and this is the block that won, but I did get requests for the pattern, so I just wanted to share with you. I took a few excerpts out from what I had done before, so you could make it at home. But just to remind you, I used one of the cards that came in the Go Me starter set for the turnstile pattern, although that's an existing block design. We had to create a new one, but I did use the same combination of quarter square, half square triangles as is on the turnstile block. So if you bought the Go Me starter, you have the two dies you need, and you have this die card, which gives you directions. But all right, so here's that card I talked about. You can see, I always go the wrong way on these things. It's so silly. But anyway, you can see it's a 3-4-4, which basically means you use 2 quarter square triangles and 1 half square triangle. And these are the 2 blocks. And this actually is the block that I made. But let me talk about the construction. As you can see, it's 2 quarter square triangles and 1 half square triangles. And I'll show you how to sew those together in a minute, but I just wanted you to show you what it consists of. So that's the single unit that you make in order to create ribbons, and you do need 9 blocks to create the ribbons design, and that's the ribbon block. But then I made the large block, which now you can actually see has the ribbon swirls. And then I made a little quilt out of it, which I actually had behind me, and I'll show you again in a bit. All right, so here's how you make ribbons. Okay, so here I am again. Now I've got all my two shapes out, my quarter square and half square triangles, and I always like to mark my dies so I don't have to keep trying to remember what the measurements are. So anyway, I've marked them, and I'm pressing my fabric now, and I've actually got a bunch of layers here, and I'm going to cut them all at, 4 3/4 inch strips. So I'm going to go ahead and, just rough cut these, and then they're ready to go into the Go Me. I need to go get my dark fabric because all my dark pieces are going to be the half square triangle, and all my flower pieces are going to be the quarter square triangle. Hey there, quilters, I'm back. I'm now going to start sewing my quarter square triangles together because I need to sew 2 of those together in order to make the block that we talked about at the very beginning, the one that's going to have 2 quarter square and 1 half square. So the first thing I'm going to do is sew these 2 together, and then I'm going to press them, and then I'm going to go back and sew one of the pair to the half square triangle. So we're going to do all the blocks the same way. There's no secret methodology. Just randomly sew your calico pieces together, and then every calico pair of quarter squares will get a half square triangle. Okay, so we're getting ready. We're going to sew our pieces together, and I have 2 quarter square triangles that I've put right sides together. Now normally you would think you would sew them this way, and as if you can see by the little needle marks, I thought so too until I realized that's incorrect, because I need to make this act like a half square triangle when I'm done. So I'm going to sew one of the short sides together instead, using my 1/4 inch foot. And I'm just going to grab pieces of fabric. I'm not going to try and match them together in any way other than that there are 2 different pieces. I'm going to go through and I'm going to sew all these together. And as I may have mentioned, I don't know if I did, to make 1 block, I put together a little chart. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. I need 9 half square triangles, because actually it's just a 9 patch. And so I need 9 half square triangles, and I need then 18 1/4 square triangles. Sew these all together. I'm not going to show you the entire process, but you know, I just chain them, and I'll go ahead and sew these together and join you when I'm done. Here are the 1/2 square triangles. I have a whole stack of them. Let me just put them off to the side. But I'm going to take 1/2 square triangle, and I sewed my 2/4 square triangles together. See, I wanted it to look like a 1/2 square triangle. So I sewed it together. Now I'm going to piece the two pieces. And I'm going to match the two corners up. And of course, you know, with AccuQuilt, everything fits perfectly. So it's always a breeze, because I always have a little trouble. I'm always a little spastic. So anyway, so there I go. I'm in pretty good shape. So I'm going to go ahead and put the needle down, and I'm leaving the fold this way. I like to keep the seam on top so I can just kind of make sure it goes where I want it to. And that's there I go. And we'll do one more. It's pretty much the same. I'm going to sew them all together just like this. Oh, and this one looks a little wonky, so there's no harm in straightening it out. And I'm just going to continue sewing, and I'll get back to you for the next section. Okay, so let's lay out our block. This is a 9 patch. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I'm going to make a 9 patch to make my ribbon design. And so I'm just going to lay out 9 squares. And you can see I've got the 1/4 squares and the 1/2 square. It's really amazing what two little shapes can do. Now, I've worked and done some other blocks on this, and the thing that's always amazing is the endless number of possibilities in design you can get from one shape. All right, so let's do some turning. I'm going to turn this one up, and I'm going to turn this one up. And this one's good. Let's flip this one around. See, we want the piece to look like it's going to be a ribbon. All right, so let's get our piece here. And this one, I think we need to go like this. Let's see, I think I'm going to do this. You know, even though it looks a little wonky, this is correct. All right, so there's our ribbon design, if you can see it, you know, kind of ribbons down. So now next, I'm going to sew them together. And as I said, I've made 4 of these because I want to show you what it looks like as a bigger block. Okay, and we'll talk about bigger blocks in a minute. Just a little comment about sewing this together. When I sew, I'm going to sew these 3 together. Then I'm going to sew these 3 together. And then I'm going to sew these 3 together. When I press them, I'm going to press this seam out, this seam in, and this seam out so that they nest when I put the 9 patch together. Okay, so here's the block, and I call it ribbons. And that's the one block I showed you making, and I also made 3 others just so that I could show you a little bit of the creativity that you can apply to this one simple shape. Okay, so now I have a 4 block. It's like a 2 by 2, and by just turning these 2 pieces up, I've created now my ribbon look. Can you see it? Isn't that pretty cool? It's very simple to do. It looks really complicated. Remember, where did we start? We started with the 2 shapes that came in the Go Me, which was 1/4 square triangle, 1/2 square triangle. And this was the block I designed, and actually I think I did pretty good. Kind of looks similar. Mine's a little more blue, but hey, that's okay. It's the fabric I had. But in addition, I kind of wanted to play with a couple of different colorways just so you can kind of see. This is actually the one that I was doing, and then I did one in orange, and I did one, this was like a lavender and yellow, and these are just deep jewel tones on a black background. I've taken that same orange. Now this is a 2 by 3 assembly. Okay, it's 2 down, 3 across, and I've angled them in such a way so I get this zigzag pattern. which I think is really cool. If you look at this one, it has dots. It's like square on point. Now this has the zigzag, and that's just by changing the locations of them. And then I made It's a Boy block quilt, because isn't that cool for a boy, like ribbons? And now I want you to notice there's all these squares on point separating the rows. This is 4 rows by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's 9, 4 by 9 blocks. Now this is the girls. It's a girl. Now the boys has the diamonds, and I put the zigzag in the girls. And all it is I started at a different place when I laid the blocks out. I started these one up, one down, and these were all in the same direction. And that's how you get the different look. And then if you take the boy block, I did in the middle the zigzag and on either side the diamonds. And part of the reason I'm showing you this is because it's a very simple shape. It's easy to sew, but there's so many possibilities that you can do, and you can change the drama of the look by just changing colors. And that's ribbons. I think it's a really cool block, and takes a minute to learn, and for the next lifetime you can be designing quilts around it. So enjoy. Quilters, thank you so much for joining me and watching my video. If you would like more information about any of the videos or patterns or quilts that I've designed, please visit my website at fontanaoriginals.com. You can also follow me on my blog and see what I'm up to in my quilt life. Thank you and have a great day.